Hello and welcome back. I got my husband Big D here.
And we got my husband Fatty.
Hi.
And we are
Endzone Enthusiasts. So what do we need the people to do, Big D?
We need you to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Who you think gonna win it all?
Ooh, who do you think is gonna win it all?
Ooh, you'll get my choice on the next episode of Endzone Enthusiasts.
Stay tuned. So, you ready to get into the quarterfinals?
I'm always ready.
Quarterfinals.
Yes.
First up, we had Miami playing the Ohio State. Unexpected. What are your thoughts, Big T?
Woo. I think the point spread was that they expected Ohio State to win by 10.
Right.
Miami won by 10. So this game for me was like a point of Miami's physicality. As much as I'm a Miami hater, and I'm a true hater, I'm a professional hater. And Miami, y'all should be glad that y'all got haters because that means y'all relevant, okay? But this game Miami was more like, oh my gosh, I don't think it was close on the physicality that Miami displayed. And they knew it was going to be kind of like a pebble fight. They knew it was going to be kind of slow. You had a lot of sacks. You had some turnovers. It just was a game that I did not expect from Ohio State. Ryan Day had to take back over play calling because he demoted Hartline during the season, who, Brian Hartline is going to be the new USF coach. So I think it just showed how kind of out of practice because, he had Chip Kelly. He's had he hasn't had to have his hand in it. And then also at losing, Hartline, I think that affected them. But really it comes down to Miami was the more physical team. Like there was no questions about it. They were more dominant at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And their game plan was very smart because they didn't let Carson Beck be the liability that he's been before in bigger games. Mm-hmm. So I think they did a good job all around. And I think this was shocking because Miami is the last remaining of the lowest ranked teams, I guess is how I would put it that way. But I think Miami is very dangerous. I think they need a little bit of rest because they, we've said throughout the season, Miami didn't really play anybody. Like now they are playing somebody and they are more physical than you expected to be.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how Miami does. I mean, we were talking about it and we hadn't necessarily even watched Miami that much. Right. And part of it's because of them being in the ACC and, we tried to follow Florida State. That didn't pan out. So we just haven't got to necessarily watch Miami that much. And so this was even a big surprise from that part to see how they've measured up to Ohio State, even being in different conference.
Yeah, I think Miami's game plan, their roster construction was really brilliant, where they've really focused on the line of scrimmage. And then, they went portal for some of the key skill positions. But they also recruited some really high-level talent. But I think Miami's blueprint is what can win it all because it all starts and ends with the line of scrimmage. And you looked at Miami's, those are a lot of Sunday players on that team. There's a lot of players that are going to be in the NFL starting next year. Like, it's a lot of talent there. Reuben Bain especially, that man was disruptive. Gosh, you can't contain him. And it's just honestly was kind of disappointing because Ohio State came into it with all the hype, all the praise, and you saw them lose to Indiana, and you're like, okay, there's a little bit of weakness there, but this looked like a different team, and it really is like, did they really play anybody this season?
Well, and they had those weeks of being off, and they may not have overcome that, even though they knew it was going to be a challenge.
Yeah, so that was an interesting game, very unexpected. I was hate watching, and I just had to stop hate watching because they were going to win no matter what, and I was like,
yes. Yeah, it was apparent pretty early on in the game that Ohio State didn't have what they needed or Miami was delivering early on.
Yeah, you brought up the physicality. You were like, Miami looks like they won it. You were like, Miami looks like the more physical team than they were. So great job to Miami on that win. That was a good game. I think that one's going to definitely say a lot. And, good job to the ACC having a team to make the top four.
Even that's unexpected, yes, to have ACC in the top four.
Yeah, but good job. Also, thank y'all for beating Ohio State. Next, The next two games are going to be kind of breezes because I don't want to talk about them too much. I'm just going to be real with y'all. It just wasn't what I wanted to see. It was Oregon and Texas Tech.
Right.
Texas Tech upset me because you upgraded that entire team through the portal. You spent bags.
Bags on bags.
Why didn't you go get another quarterback?
Oh.
That quarterback was a liability for them. And that was the thing that held them back. Their defense was able to stop Oregon a couple times. Like, they have some good stops. But when your offense can't produce anything, your defense is out there too long. Your defense is tired. They're exhausted, and they just can't, they can't do anything if the offense doesn't give them breaks. And I think that's what happens. I think that Texas Tech is already on the path to fix that. They may already, probably by the time this video comes out, they may already have a quarterback committed. But it was surprising to see because I thought Texas Tech would have something, but their offense just had no answers. And so those are the games I hate to watch, is the blowout games where it's so lopsided. Oregon, it was a good win for them. Dante Moore looked good. And, I've said a couple times this season is I thought Oregon was going to be, next year was going to be their year. So it's surprising for them to be doing what they're doing. I still think that Miami has a better team. I think Indiana has a better team. And I think Ole Miss is slightly better than Oregon right now. But they can still make some noise, but they'll be going into a rematch with the next game's winner, which was Indiana. Indiana dominated Alabama. That was an embarrassing game to watch as a SEC fan, to see the way Alabama looked. Alabama looked like it was their JV team going out there for the first time. I think what you lost with Nick Saban retiring is the physical element and the intimidation factor Alabama had. They had bigger players than you. They had more talent top to bottom than you. Their fourth string is better than most starters. You had a culture also of being the more physically dominant team. And I think that's where Georgia has taken that blueprint, and that's where they really live, as being the more physical team. But also, don't forget, Cignetti did coach under Nick Saban, so he understands that. And that's the way he's built this Indiana team. He has been smart in the portal. He has an eye for identifying talent. He's really just done a great job of, it's the accountability. He has very high expectations and everybody meets them. And that's what's really, that's the sign of a great leader. I thought maybe last year may have been a flash in the pants for Indiana, but no, they're legitimate. And I think they're going to be legitimate for a long time. And just to see what they did to Alabama, I was like, okay, Alabama will hold their own. Alabama didn't hold nothing but the ground. That was embarrassing. You embarrassed us real bad, and I'm real upset. But I'll say part of that comes from, I think Kalen DeBoer's style is a little bit more flash and not as much substance. It's not, the emphasis isn't put on the physicality like what Nick Saban did. And you saw that, and they were getting bullied off the line. They were getting dominated in all aspects of the game, and it was just kind of like, come on, Alabama, do something.
For real, please.
Oh, you got a field goal. Yay.
That's it.
Alabama.
Not what we expect in the playoffs.
Do better, because you knew better.
Now, a real nail-biter was Georgia Ole Miss. And we was rooting for Kirby Smart, but what happened? Okay, this was Pete Golding's first game with Ole Miss. And he did that? Please make it make sense, JT.
Don't tell nobody I was rooting for Kirby, okay? You wasn't supposed to tell nobody I was.
We told him last week he was rooting for Kirby.
Yeah, but you ain't. I'm a Florida fan. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble for that. What I was saying is that Kirby, when he was at Valdosta State, where I went to college, he was, so that's where it came from. It wasn't, but that's what Valdosta State. That's what it is. Is VSU? We both, blazed for a little bit, but yeah, this game. Oh, gosh, this game. This game made me, the number one question I asked by the end of this game was Lane Kiffin holding Ole Miss back?
That's what I'm wondering, too.
Ole Miss couldn't beat Georgia in the regular season. Pete Golding just put on a masterclass. against Georgia. Because I'll be honest with you, even with the swings of Ole Miss, it still felt like the typical Georgia game, them coming from behind. Like, okay, I'm reading the same script that I've always read. I'm like, okay.
All season long.
I was messaging one of my friends about it, and he brought up, he's like, why do we always start slow? And I was like, this game, it may bite you in the butt for y'all to be starting slow because Ole Miss is going to score. And what I didn't expect is that the end to go the way it did.
Right.
There was a missed face mask penalty that was obvious. Like, everybody and their grandma that benefited Georgia. Well, there were a couple.
I saw it, and my grandma saw it.
Yeah, grandma saw it. Grandma, she'll ride or die for him. There were a couple missed penalties, period, like that. Yeah.
Which has been happening all season across the board.
So but really, it was a good game until the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter was drunk. I was trying to go to bed because I needed to get up and get on the road where we are for this special taping.
Yes.
I couldn't go to bed because of the end of that game. It stretched out. Right. It was after midnight. I'm tired. I'm having to get up and drive.
But watch it if you didn't see it. It was kind of must see. It was entertaining.
But it's a really great win for Pete Golding. I
Definitely.
think there were going to be a lot of questions, and I think you have to give Charlie Weiss some credit to see what he can do without Lane Kiffin giving him guidance. Yes, Charlie Weiss does call the plays, but Lane Kiffin has his hand on it. This was a game where he was free in a way, so he could do things his way, and you saw the result was they got the win.
He got results.
And it was just really good because I think Pete Golding knew Georgia formula. They know Georgia's a fourth quarter team, so for them, they were like, okay, we got to put it on them the first three quarters, so we make the fourth quarter not relevant. And Georgia started coming back. Georgia tied it. Like, it was there, but it really was Pete Golding grabbing this game by the throat. And I'll say, we're entering the Golding era, and this is actually pretty impressive. I have to give them props. And then you see, like, the difference in the style of teams that were put together for them. Georgia still focuses on high school recruiting more than anything, and then they'll supplement in the portal. Ole Miss is a very portal heavy. I think 60% of their team came from the portal, something like that. The rest came from high school recruiting. So you saw the two different sides, and it makes you wonder, will Georgia continue to focus on high school recruiting like they have been, or will they take a page? Because what you've seen is that the teams that have made it this far, minus Oregon, have all focused on the portal. They've been portal teams. Miami's a portal team. Indiana was a portal team. Yeah. But I think the more interesting thing this is going to set up is Ole Miss versus Miami.
Ole Miss versus Miami in the semifinals.
This is going to be interesting. I honestly don't even know where to go with this game because I'm just like,
I know.
Is Miami going to be tapped out from playing these tough teams and leading up to get to where they are? And is Ole Miss going to be able to keep this same level of momentum going? So honestly, I don't know where to go with that.
I don't know either.
It's just like,
I hope it's not a blowout. Like, I hope it's competitive.
Yeah, because like Georgia has really good line of scrimmage play. So Ole Miss beat them at the line of scrimmage. Miami has really great line of scrimmage play. So it's a thing of like I think this game actually, what I will say is, I think it's going to come down to who makes the most mistakes. I think that's going to be what it is. Because I think these teams are actually closer than you think they're really going to be. Both have explosive offenses in a way. Carson Beck can have his on and off days. But I think this one is going to be a fascinating game. I'm probably actually slightly leaning Miami for this game.
Yeah, it's just tough for you to say.
Yeah, it's tough.
Based on what you saw, like Miami,
Yeah, Miami, but I don't know. That one's going to be an interesting one. But the other game is going to be the rematch of the regular season is Oregon and Indiana.
Rematch!
And so I'm definitely leaning Indiana. I'm sorry. I thought Oregon would maybe take some notes. And like, yes, they put it on Texas Tech, but it's easy to beat a team that doesn't have an offense.
Gotcha.
Indiana has an offense. Indiana has a really good offense. So I'm actually picking Indiana to win that game too. I think because they beat Oregon by 10 and they're at their place. I think it's gonna be. I think they're gonna win by. I'm actually gonna say I'll probably give them like a 10-point win for this game too.
Okay.
I think it'll be. But yeah, this is gonna be an interesting game. But yeah, I'm actually glad that at least 2 of the 4 games were entertaining to watch. The other 2, I was like,
yeah. And hopefully these next week are both going to be competitive, entertaining. That's the kind of games we like to watch. That's the kind of games we like to talk about.
Yeah. But I think you saw with this being, the 12-team playoff, I think we still got to the same end results, even though you had more teams involved. So I think that is a good part of it. I think some of the seeding will definitely be different moving forward to benefit some teams, some conferences non-conference teams. Notre Dame. I'm actually looking forward to watching both of those. Both games intrigue me, and you know what? I think I'm actually going to go ahead and give them my pick.
Okay.
I am picking Indiana to win it all.
Ooh, let's see. We may revisit it after this week. We'll see. But
I think Indiana legit.
At this point, Big D saying Indiana.
I think it's going to be Indiana.
So, y'all watch the semifinal games. We're going to be watching it here at Endzone Enthusiasts, and then we'll be back to talk about it.
Always going to be ready. Because, if you stay ready, you ain't got to what?
Get ready.
That part. So, we appreciate y'all going on this journey with us. It's been a really great football season for us. I still can't believe it's already over. But
for real.
Or close to over. Still got a couple games. But I think this was a really great season for chaos and also the underdogs. Also this playoffs is none of the ones from last year made this one. So I was like, that's great. So I'm excited, but thank y'all at Endzone Enthusiasts. We know football can be fun for everybody. So we hope you've enjoyed our content. Please, like we said, subscribe, and continue going this journey. Put down in the comments who you think is going to win it all and why. Put the why. Because Indiana, I think it was what they've done to Ohio State and then what they've done to Alabama. I don't know. Actually, Miami may be able to. But yeah. So thank you for going on this journey with us, and we will catch you next week.
That's right. Bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye now.